Hey, this is Peter from Lectrium. We're about to go check out the Cybertruck in the Meatpacking district, or as I like to call it, the Battery Pack district, because now there's Tesla, Rivian, Lucid, and Genesis all in the same area. And actually, if you look over here, we'll be taking a Revel electric ride-sharing Tesla Model 3 to see the Cybertruck. So we're here in Meatpacking district, or as I call it, Battery Packing district. And we just saw a Fisker store, there's a Rivian store, there's a Lucid store, Genesis house, and of course the Tesla store with a Cybertruck in it, which we're gonna check out here in a second. But as we were walking over, we saw this awesome Daniel Arsham outdoor installation exhibit, and it's Pokemon. And I grew up as a kid playing Pokemon, playing Red and Blue, and seeing Mewtwo, Pikachu, and Trainer, which is super cool. And Daniel Arsham's an awesome artist. He is a creative director for the Cleveland Cavaliers, designing their courts, their jerseys. He also has a Arsham Instagram page where he kind of tricks out Porsche 911s and off-roads them and stuff like that. And it's really cool to see this here. A nice bonus experience for our trip today into Meatpacking from Brooklyn. And let's go over and check out Tesla here in a second. It's certainly drawing a crowd. Pretty much everyone who walks by stops and is like, what is that thing? It looks like it's from the future. And the future should look like the future, so that's an awesome response. Say hi to Romy.
This is so cool.
Yeah, it's super cool. We're gonna go inside and check it out. It's shining from out here, and the light bar is super, super cool. And we'll give more opinions once we go and see it. Say hi to Optimus, the Tesla robot, which completes tasks that are repetitive, boring, or dangerous for humans. It's got a nice cyber belt buckle there, which says "Don't mess with Tesla." Pretty cool. And its friend, the Cybertruck, is right there. First ever look at the Cybertruck. It's awesome. We're here in the Manhattan showroom for Tesla. And really just the stainless steel body of the truck is really edgy and kind of jarring to see. I've never seen a stainless steel vehicle before, and it's inspired by SpaceX's Starship. And it's super shiny. There's the light shining in on the front of the car, and there's a huge kind of reflection that's going in my eyes. But in general, it's really impressive. The lines of the vehicle are super sharp. And I think, making the car out of stainless steel, it's almost a requirement to make the lines really sharp and edgy. It's not like a carbon fiber vehicle body, which they kind of mold and make it round. But in general, the Cybertruck looks huge. It's, it makes the Model 3 beside it look tiny. Unfortunately, we can't go inside, but, just from being next to it, I'm 6'4", 6'5". It's a big car. Little walk around. The front of the car is huge. Its windshield is just absolutely massive. Also, the A-frame section here is really long. The light bar of the Cybertruck has gotten some interesting news in the past few days. It has a wake-up sequence when you start the vehicle, which is fun and kind of Tesla's brand of making the vehicle actually fun to drive and fun to interact with. A windshield wiper, if you look at it, is the biggest windshield wiper I have seen in my whole life. It's just one wiper, but I read it was double bladed. So there's actually two blades in there, and it's huge. It's actually crazy to look at. Let's see, on the front you have some cameras right here. I think they're hardware 4. There's also towing cables in the front as well. Yeah, so the interior of the car is pretty minimalistic. The wheel is not round. It's also not like the stock. It's kind of oval shaped. And it looks like there are no turn signal stocks in there. So it'll take some getting used to for people to learn how to drive it. These wheels are sick. They have awesome wheel covers that are kind of angular and feel like the Cybertruck. But in general, just my first reaction looking at this car is it's just very unique. Unlike anything I've ever seen before. The future should feel like the future, and it certainly does. It feels like it's from Mars. Like I could see this driving around through craters and when we become multiplanetary as a species, I imagine this is like what we're going to be driving around. It makes sense because it's inspired by the Starship and the stainless steel body of that vehicle, and it's just pretty mesmerizing. We're looking at the back of the Cybertruck, and here you can actually see the charge port. It's into kind of the wheelbase of the car right here on this plastic part. You know, it'll cause maybe some issues if you're backing into a V2 or V3 supercharger because those cables are relatively short. You know, but it should be fine. Tesla obviously considers these things when they're designing their vehicle. The battery architecture of this is rumored to be 800 volts, which would allow for extremely fast supercharging on V4 Tesla superchargers. I'm excited for more and more EVs to have 800 volt battery architecture. This allows for them to be charged from 10 to 80% in 20, 30 minutes instead of 40 or 50 minutes. There's been rumors that there would be a solar roof on the Cybertruck eventually. I think Elon Musk said that back in like 2019, that there may be a solar roof that could provide maybe 15 miles of range per day. I don't think it has it yet, but the delivery event is tomorrow, November 30th at 1 p.m. Central Time, and I'm sure we'll get more info then. But in general, let's just take a walk around the back. There's been a lot of talk about the panels of this vehicle and kind of panel gaps. It looks great to me. I think other people on YouTube have been looking at it as well, and I think the general consensus is, some early designs had some panel gap issues, but this looks really, really well done. And if you look on this line right here, you can't really see too much of a gap. It's actually a beautifully straight line. I love the side mirrors. They're angular, and they feel like they were custom made for the Cybertruck, which they definitely were. You see a bunch of cameras all over this vehicle. Dojo, full self-driving, all that cool stuff. And this back part of the vehicle is just huge. There's the trunk cover here, which is pretty fun. There's some buttons right there, if you can see, to move it up or down, it looks like, which is nice and intuitive. There's a pretty high rear view camera. I think there's a lower one as well, right there. And the rear light bar is interesting. I'm curious to see how it feels when braking, when reversing, if this red light is always on. Remains to be determined. And in general, the Cybertruck just feels like an engineering feat for humanity. People have talked about the Sphere recently in Las Vegas and how that has been, an innovation in building creation. And this feels like an innovation in car creation. I was watching the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey, and a massive monolith appeared on Earth and kind of confused everyone. This feels like a monolith. That's just a, stainless steel structure that was placed in, lower Manhattan. It feels out of place, but it's very futuristic, very cool, and it's huge. It feels really big. I'm excited to see it next to a Rivian R1T and next to a Ford F-150 Lightning. I don't have the exact specs yet. I don't think anyone does, but it feels in a similar size class. Might be a little bit longer, but we'll have to wait and see. I would love to get inside of it. Unfortunately, not yet. And for everyone going to the delivery event tomorrow, have fun, and we're jealous. Some other cool parts of the Tesla store down here. They have, information on the plaid drive unit, heat pumps, the full self-driving computer, autopilot cameras. This kind of, in my opinion, takes after what Lucid did. Lucid showed their onboard charger, their battery pack, their skateboard, and it's really fun for an EV shopper or just a fan to come in and see the internal components of a vehicle. I think Elon joked that there would be a Cybertruck plaid. I don't know if that's true, but remains to be determined when we see the delivery event tomorrow. And kind of famously, Tesla uses cameras for their autopilot and their full self-driving beta. A lot of other self-driving vehicle startups use LiDAR. Kind of a controversial decision by Elon. I remember reading in the Walter Isaacson book that some of his engineers were, kind of questioning that, but I think his logic was, if humans only have eyes, which are visual, mediums, kind of like cameras, they should be good enough for vehicles as well.